It's fall in the garden, and I'm with Jan McNeelan. And Jan, you have some fall tips for us that we can have a healthier garden next year.
Well, everybody wants to go greener, but what does that really mean?
Good idea.
And it's just taking care of your plants and knowing what to do. So starting with the basics, and that's soil. And here we have some garden soil that we amend every year with composted yard debris, and that's what this is right here, the little black stuff. And it goes down and composts into the soil over the winter. And actually, this is pretty darn good soil for November.
You know, and it's been raining, and it looks like it's still real crumbly. Yeah, you could really work in that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful.
So it is. It's been nice soil. There's some areas that are better than others, but over the years we've worked it up.
You know, and what about plant selection? We can really do right plant, right place.
Yeah, a plant will tell you if it doesn't like where it is. I mean, if it's supposed to bloom and it never does, you have to think about what you're doing. Either you're over-fertilizing and it's all going to leaf and no flower,
right?
Or it's not getting enough sun to put those produce those flower buds. So know where your plant goes. If it's frying in the sun, it wants more shade. If it's gangly in the shade, it wants more sun. So know what the cultural requirements are of these plants you spend all your hard-earned money on.
Well, just think about it. It's common sense usually. And then plant care, pruning, that kind of thing.
Pruning is important in that you have to know when the proper time to prune is, or if a plant needs any pruning. Sometimes we get excited about pruning and it really doesn't, we don't need to. But pruning so that you don't prune off the flowers for the next spring. If it's a spring blooming plant, you need to prune after it's done flowering and not in the winter right before it sets buds or has buds and is ready to bloom. So know what fruit spurs look like so you don't cut off your fruit, etc.
Right, just get some extra information.
Sure.
And what about when we go out into our gardens? If we see a small problem, it's probably best to do something then instead of later.
Well, or maybe nothing. And that's the thing, is to find out if you see something that doesn't look right to you, make sure you understand what it is and not assume that it's a disease or an insect problem, because 90% of the problems that we find in the yard or that we think are problems are environmental, where we didn't water enough, or it's not in the right place, or there's something else. So get some help from your independent garden centers or nurseries or the Master Gardeners Extension Service and get some help knowing what your problems are and whether or not it's time to treat or if you need to, because there's a lot of beneficial critters out there that we want to have them help us in our gardens.
Right, and sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's just that stage of the plant and we are worried for nothing, and we love our garden so much, we just want to help.
Yeah, right.
Jan is going to be elaborating on all of these tips on our website, so go to gardentime.tv. Jan, thanks so much for all season tips. We've just had so much fun with you, so much information, and we'll see you next year.
Okay.